Hey, what's up? Clay Allison from Wicked Edge, and I'm going to show off a knife I picked up at Blade Show this year. I think it's a fantastic knife. It might be my new favorite kitchen knife. Historically, I've always loved Japanese knives, and this is one of my all-time favorites. This one's made by Shisui Takeda, and it's an Aogami Super Steel. Measures 16.5 centimeters or about 6.5 inches, and I love this thing. The steel is amazing. It takes a really fine edge, and it holds that edge for, basically forever. I love the way it cuts. I love its nice thin profile. What I don't like about it, and what my wife especially doesn't like about it, is that of course it's a high carbon steel and it doesn't have much corrosion resistance. So you always have to clean it off pretty quickly after you use it, and then dry it and get it back up onto the board. So while we were at Blade Show, we went by one of our favorite booths, one of our favorite knife makers, which is Bradford, and I picked up this knife here, which is their 6-inch utility knife. And the kind of couple things that make this special are the blade steel that they've chosen, the grind, the size, I think are all fantastic. So when you compare this new Bradford 6-inch utility to my Takeda, they're really similar in length and width. The Bradford is about 15 centimeters longer, about 6 inches. The Takeda about 6.5. This one's a little bit thicker and a little bit heavier. So at the midpoint of the blade, it is about 2.2 millimeters. And the midpoint of the Takeda, it's about 1.4 millimeters. So a bit thicker on this one, a little bit heavier. This one weighs 4.8 ounces, and this one weighs 3.2 ounces. It's got sort of a rat tail tang and an octagonal wood handle, and the Takeda has a carbon fiber handle and a full tang, so it gives it a little more back weight, whereas the Takeda kind of has its balance point pretty far forward. The Bradford is actually it's pretty far back. I think the balance point's about here. This thing's got wonderful carbon fiber scales, and of course the steel is phenomenal. So this is CPM magnacut versus the Hitachi Aogami Super Steel. And magnacut, sort of in a head-to-head with the Takeda, it's a pretty good comparison. They have really similar hardnesses, somewhere in the range of 61 to 63, 64 Rockwell. But where the magnacut has a great advantage is in the corrosion resistance and in the edge retention. Plus, it's a tougher steel, so it's less likely to chip if you drop it or if you hit something hard. Now, magnacut is kind of a tough steel to sharpen for a lot of people. It will beat up traditional whetstones, but our diamond stones just plow right through it. The diamond is always going to be just a lot harder than any steel. And so when it comes to our settings and our sharpeners, here's what I've found with this particular knife. I'll set it in the clamp about here. And so now if you're looking with the standard alignment guide, the tip position should be at about B.5 or so. That should be pretty good. And then for the position in terms of height, I've currently got it in the top position, although it works pretty well in the lower position as well. It's just kind of up to you. You'll just have to change the angle a little bit based on your preference. This particular knife from the factory came in at 13.5 degrees, so that matches up pretty well. If I drop this in the lower setting here, I can just set my settings to 13 degrees and it matches up almost perfectly. If I put it in the upper position, then I'm going to raise my angle setting to 14 degrees, and that matches almost perfectly as well. So how do I like to sharpen this knife for my own use? I prefer to go just up to the 1000 grit stone. I think it's a great toothy edge, and then finish it off with the leather strops. So if you've sharpened on your lower setting like this and you're in there at that 13 degrees, what I like to do for stropping it is then just raise it up, keep the angle setting the same, just raise it up in the vise to the upper position, and then you'll get that slightly lowered angle for stropping so you don't kind of round over the edge. But I feel like that's a fantastic working edge that's got the benefit of a tiny bit of micro convexing that gives it that extra refinement and durability. I'm loving just sort of the hassle-free nature of having such phenomenal steel, phenomenal edge, without having to clean it and dry it so meticulously every single time I use it right away. So yeah, check it out. I think you'll love it as much as I do.